Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, and we have the best guest in the world to talk about the Super Bowl. There's no better guest than we have right now to talk about this game. I've known Joe Namath for 25 years, I think, and he was an idol to me as I played college football at a small school upstate New York. I actually wore white shoes and was laughed off the field for trying to imitate Joe Namath. But anyway, this is a No Spin News special, and we are going to do a number of these this year with extremely interesting, famous, powerful people in a very personal way. So I asked for Joe to help us out, and he did. And here he is, Joe Namath, the man, the legend, the myth. All wrapped up. You know, you look really good. I think you're 112 years old now, aren't you? 112?
Not quite, 109.
Right. You really look good, boy. You know, you look like the Jets could start you and win.
Oh, boy.
We'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to that. So I want to take you back to 1969. It's amazing how life goes so fast, isn't it?
It is. It is, if you're lucky. You know, it only drags when something's wrong. Somebody's sick or something's going on.
Right. But the years pass, the memories don't. And 1969, the American Football League was still trying to get credibility with the National Football League. But it was a rough and tumble league. I used to go to some of the games at Shea Stadium in New York, and they were beating the hell out of each other. I mean, in the AFL. And you played the Oakland Raiders for the championship of the American Football League. And whoever won that game, 1969, January, was going to the Super Bowl. They tried to kill you, didn't they?
Well, that's the name of the game. Get the quarterback. Kill the quarterback if you can.
But it's different now than it was back then. So these guys on Oakland, they were out to knock you off the field physically, correct?
Yes. Well, that's the thing. If you can debilitate the quarterback, you got a better chance of winning. And the Raiders were notoriously a team that did extracurricular kind of work out there in the field. One of the first times I played against the Raiders, they had a big defensive end named Ben Davidson. And he got me, he had me on the ground, he twisted my head, and then he put his hand under my face mask and came down there. And he got up and he's walking away, and I ran and I grabbed him. And turned him. He turned around and looked at me, and I looked at him, and I told him, I said, man, you ever do that again, I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to shoot your wife, your children, and you. I swear I was hot, boy. And
but the referees, they weren't like they were today, trying to protect the quarterback.
No, of course, but they still don't. All the players know about wheels, the knees for sure, right, and the heads.
Right.
And they've done a good job trying to respect that. Sometimes you see a guy cutting somebody or getting hit in the head, but the players know that it goes around. What goes around comes around. So they protect one another when it comes to the head and the knee.
So it's a different game because back then pretty much anything goes, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can get away with it. So you beat the Raiders in a wild shootout, right? I mean, it was a high-scoring game. You were the reason that you won because you'd racked up so many yards passing. But you must have been hurting after that game.
You hurt after a lot of games, Bill, but, the quarterbacks get a lot of credit. And you say I was the reason. I was a good reason. But without our defense, without our offense, without that, it's a team game. Honest to God, it's one of the best team games. And whenever our defense got scored on late, I threw an interception, and Oakland went down and scored a touchdown. I told the cats, on the bench, Al Atkinson, our defensive captain, I said, hey, we're going to get it back. We're going to get it back. Don't get low, man. Come on, get ready, because we're going to get it back. And we got it back. We hit a couple of big plays. Shea Stadium, you probably remember that the wind comes around in there, a swirling wind, And the greatest catch I've ever seen to this day, to me, and we see some great catches one-handed, threw a long ball to Don Maynard, and the wind caught it. And he was running down there, and he swirled, he turned around, and he caught the thing this way and went out of bounds. And that's still, to this day, for me, the greatest catch I've ever seen.
All right, so you beat these guys, the Oakland Raiders, and now you're facing the Baltimore Colts in the Super Bowl. And most sports casters and writers were mocking the New York Jets, saying you didn't have a chance, shouldn't be on the same field, all of that. Did you pay attention to that?
Well, they were very good. No, we didn't pay attention to that. They were very good. But there's still a few nights before the game, in Fort Lauderdale, the Colts were staying there too. And it was a restaurant, I'd call it, but it was a bar restaurant. Sitting at the bar, and two guys next to me. One was Lou Michaels, the defensive tackle for the Colts, and an offensive guard, Dan Sullivan. And we're drinking a little bit. And Lou, whom I met before because he went to Kentucky, and my brother Frank went to Kentucky and played ball some. Anyway, Lou just, had to say it. We're going to kick your ass.
So he was taunting you.
Yeah.
In the restaurant.
Yes, and at the bar, in the restaurant.
Was Lou out of his mind drunk or what?
Oh, no.
He was serious.
No. He was serious. They're trying to push a button. And I have, well, anyway, I said, Lou, come on, man. Don't talk like that.
Right.
He said, well, we're going to kick your ass, Joe. I said, well, what do you know? You're just a kicker. He got up there, that Joe got up, and he got that, and what, Shinnick or whatever, who was the guy with him, he said, no, Lou, you know what I'm saying?
So there's always a brawl.
Well, it wouldn't have been a brawl, it would have been a killing.
He would have wiped you out. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so tensions are high. This isn't some relaxed game. This is a lot on the line, right?
Well, yeah, they Baltimore was overconfident. They had no respect for the AFL. The NFL didn't. The first two games, they went their way, and they were overconfident.
And you guys knew that?
Well, I felt that way. I knew it, and what I saw on film, I knew we could take advantage of.
Okay.
I knew we had a better team, was my opinion. Our defense was good, was outstanding.
So you were confident. Were the rest of your team confident, though?
Yeah.
They all were. Yeah. They all knew that they could play.
Well, some guys, there's 40 guys or how many guys, some guys might have had some, wow, these guys are really good. But I didn't sense that then, and I don't remember that. I think we were all very confident.
The myth then says, and I'm going to play a sound clip now, the myth then says that you were at a kind of a press event and then predicted that was ballsy. Did you know when you were saying that how outrageous that was?
I didn't care. It was a wise guy that yelled out, Namath, we're going to kick your ass. And I said, hey, buddy, I got news for you. We're going to win the game. I guarantee it.
Okay. So you didn't care that this was going to be worldwide headlines and that,
Oh, no, I didn't. No.
If you had to do it again, would you do it again?
Absolutely. It was a wise guy back there,
All right. But very few athletes. Ali did it. Muhammad Ali did it, okay? But today they go, we'll just play our best, and we thank the Lord we're here. You know what they do. They don't do what you did.
First of all, we miss Muhammad. Yeah, man. Every time you mention his name, I get some good memories, boy. Right. But, the next day at practice, Coach Eubanks out in the middle of the field, and we were warming up on the sidelines, and still, come in. Bill Hampton, our equipment manager, came over and said, Joe, a rifle, he called me. He said, rifle, the coach wants to see you. I said, okay. And I jog out there and say, yes, sir. And he's standing there like this, boy. He's
little Eubanks, little guy.
Right. He's standing there like this. You know what you've done? I said, sir? He said, you know what you've done? I said, what? No. He said, you've given these guys ammunition. They're going to put these bulletin boards up, all these clippings about you guaranteeing this game, and you're firing them up. I said, well, coach, it's your fault. He said, what?
You said it was his fault?
Yes, absolutely. I said, Coach, it's your fault. He said, what? I said, you told us we were going to win. You told us you can play.
When did I?
What am I saying? He said, get out of here. Get out of here. Just
Okay.
off.
So now there's fire on the Baltimore side. Okay. We're going to show this Namath and the Jets. How did your side, other than Weeb, Eubank, the coach, were they happy you did that? The players?
I think so for the most part. Yeah, Johnny, our co-captain, came to me that night. Yeah, Johnny Sample.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me why I did that, and I told him we are going to win. What do you think? He said, okay, that team, we felt like we knew we were going to win. We really believed Baltimore wasn't going to change for us.
Right. They were the same team, but they were a very successful team.
Yes, they were a very successful team. I don't know, they lost one game that year.
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But I do know they had the most arrogant coach in the league with Don Shula.
Well,
He was one SOB, Shula.
Well, you guys saying he's Hungarian. I like Don. We got along very well.
But he's strutting in there going, we're not letting these guys beat us,
I don't know. I don't think he'd have had that kind of feeling. But maybe they all did because they won.
Yeah, it was so,
Yeah.
Would you say they were cocky, though, when they took the field for the game? Was Baltimore cocky? Could you feel that energy?
I didn't pay attention to them.
How were the Jets? In the locker room right before you went out, okay? Big, huge game, okay? Because your Namath and New York and all of that. You're down in the Orange Bowl, Miami, okay? You're in the locker room. Guys throwing up or guys tight? What was it?
It was normal. It was pretty normal. I'm just guessing at that. We had a loose bunch of guys, and we knew we could play, and we weren't going to beat ourselves. Most teams beat themselves by making mental errors and throwing the ball, whatever. And we had a smart team. So
okay, you also had a devious team because your top receiver, Don Maynard, who you referenced earlier as the best catch, he had a knee injury. He had a leg injury. And nobody told anybody. Colts didn't know it. And they would double teaming Maynard. He didn't catch a pass the whole game.
Yeah, I think I threw one pass and missed them a little bit long.
Right.
He was not 100%, of course, but they doubled him.
And they didn't know that he wasn't 100%.
They were doubling Don all the time, man. And
did you know that he had a leg injury? Did you know that?
Well, in practice, you learn from practice, yes, but you still look for him. I still look for him.
So you threw mostly to George Sauer, the second receiver, who had more than 100 yards.
And big boy Pete Lammons, our tight end. Matt Snell and Boozer, we moved it around.
But you guys only scored one touchdown, okay? Was that disappointing to you?
We were ahead. No, it wasn't disappointing.
Yeah, you would win 16-0 in the fourth.
Yeah, we were. It wasn't disappointing. I could understand that you want to score more touchdowns, but this was a very good team.
They were tough on defense.
And we were ahead all the way. We weren't behind.
Did they do what Oakland did to you? Did they try to hurt you?
I don't know about that. No, Oakland, that was a different animal. And that was a different year, too, early on. I think most defensive players are trying to debilitate the opponent.
Even today.
Why not? Yes, but cleanly. You want to knock them out.
Right.
It's a contact game. Now they're protecting the knees and the head much better today, and the players are respecting that. But you want to jack somebody up. Yeah, you don't want them to get up.
When you were on the field during the game, were they taunting you, Baltimore? Were they yelling at you and saying stuff to you?
I don't remember anybody.
You blocked it out.
I don't know that I blocked it out. I didn't need to, but there wasn't any mouthing going back.
No, wasn't any trash talking at all?
Well, Johnny Sample, our cornerback, he did a lot of it.
Right.
That was Johnny's style, and it was good because it influenced our defense, and it distracted the other guys.
Mm-hmm. So when did you know you were going to win the game? The biggest upset in Super Bowl history. When did you know you had them?
I believed we were going to win. And whenever I looked up at the clock and in the fourth quarter and it was late, I said, oh, please, clock. God, please let that clock run.
Because they changed quarterbacks. It went from Earl Morrall, who was the MVP, a terrible game, and Johnny Huge, the legend, Johnny Unitas, comes on the field. What did you think when you saw that?
Well, first of all, I was lucky enough to get to know Johnny, and he was a hero of mine. Even when in high school, one of my nicknames was Joey U when I was younger, you see. But whenever I saw him coming out, well, actually, before the game, on the sidelines, looking back and forth, I went into a little thing, man. My head looked across there and saw Johnny. And I said, wow, yeah, look at where we are.
Here he comes.
Oh, man.
And he did put 7 on the board.
Yeah, well, but he honestly, he wasn't the thrower he was when he was younger.
Right.
The zip on the ball had gone, and that happens to quarterbacks as you age. And back then, the training is not as good as today as far as weight rooms. You had a weight boot to help your quad if you had a bad knee. Mm-hmm. These athletes today are spectacular.
Right. Well, they're in a gym 24/7, these guys. I mean, they're like machines. So you win the game, and then everything in football, pro football, changes. Everything changes. You get parity. Then it was a merger of the two leagues and all of that. We have one more clip we want to show. When you won the game, you were running off the field and you raised your finger.
Because these people, the AFL, the Jet fans, they've been struggling, and it was like a finality. We're number one. Yeah, it's the league that, we were second-rate league, so to speak.
Right. And there have been a bunch of documentaries about the game, and they all cite the aftermath right after you won. Roll the tape. Now, did you know, sitting in a locker room with all those guys, that your life was going to change, that you were now going to be elevated to this kind of mystical, which you still maintain today, superstar status? Did you know that?
No, I didn't think that. You're always taught to be humble and have the respect for what you're doing, your teammates and all that. You never do something on your own except maybe pass away or you get help along the way. I respected my teammates. I respected the help. I know I couldn't have done flip without the cats up front.
Okay, but there's always in America, you have to have a star, you have to have a villain, and so you're the star. And then Hollywood comes, right? Ed Sullivan's show, your own show. But you, at the time, didn't know all of that was going to come.
Mr. Sullivan.
Right, no. You didn't know any of that was going to come?
No, I didn't expect that. It's of course not.
What did your teammates say to you?
Good game,
That was it?
Yeah, we expected to win.
So there wasn't any deviation after you won, then another game?
No, what one memory I really have is just terrific. A couple of memories. But after the game, I left the locker room, got in the car, and my girlfriend was sitting in the middle, and Joe Hirsch, my buddy, roommate, was driving the car. They didn't say a word. I didn't say a word, and we started driving out, following the traffic, no one said a word, and then Mr. Hirsch said, he started chuckling, and Susie, we just started chuckling a bit,
You knew you did it.
We did, yeah.
Now, there's a myth that you stayed out all night before the game. Is that true? Or you stayed up very late before?
Oh, that was a championship game, and it wasn't all night, no.
Oh, that was the Oakland game?
Yeah, that's my family was in town, and they had...
All right. So you weren't carousing before the Super Bowl game?
No.
Because we would have... Did you have a curfew? Did you have...
Oh, yeah, we had curfews and room checks, sure.
Okay. Also, some of the Jet players have told me that after the game was over and you were on the field, none of the Colts came over to congratulate you.
I don't know. I wasn't looking for him.
But do you remember anybody coming over? Did Don come over and a mass congratulations? They were mad.
Well, I imagine they were sick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fully expected to win, and they were overconfident. They ran through the NFL that year, man. They had a really good team.
Do you think that Shula and Weeb Eubank, because I can't find any, did they congratulate each other or say anything?
I think they congratulated one another, and again, I'm not sure. It was,
right. Because today, after the game, the coaches always give you the little, and some of them like each other and some of them don't. I mean, obviously. But somebody told me, one of the Jet players said that we were kind of surprised that very few Colts came over to congratulate us.
Well, who's looking for somebody to come over? If we'd have lost, I don't think I'd go.
You wouldn't have gone over and said, good game?
No. If you lose,
yeah,
you get out of there. What are you talking about? You don't feel good, man.
Oh, I know. But today it's a different thing. They do that. They congratulate each other after the game on the field. It's almost an NFL ritual.
Well, if you have friends or they know each other better these days, it's...
All right, so you and your girlfriend and your best friend are driving away, and your whole life is changing, but you're not really aware of how it's going to change, though, right? You're just thinking about the game and the satisfaction of winning.
Well, no, I'm not thinking about how the life's going to change at all. It's, but again, we won a championship in high school, college. I expected we'd win a championship, and we did.
Right. And that was the last time the New York Jets won a championship in 1969. Yeah. And one of the Jets, the current Jets, said to me, Joe Namath put a curse on us.
No, I'm always pulling for him. I promise you that. And like anything, it starts at the top. Leon Hess, Mr. Werblin, these guys, they Donald, they were terrific owners. They were terrific owners. And
but it's been a long time.
We had the coach that had been there before, and he was good. And Buddy Ryan, what a defensive coach he was. And we played well that year.
Right. Today's game. Do you watch?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Are there any players that you have seen that might emulate Joe Namath and reach that kind of a level?
I see college guys that are bigger and better and faster, throwing the ball good, throwing it really well. Mm-hmm. I can't compare myself to those guys. I mean, we did it. That was but the animal's different these days, man. They're bigger, stronger, faster overall. They have better training. They had a weight room. We had a weight boot.
Right.
Nutritionally, they're just, I go over to the Alabama facility now and then and to see how they have a weight room that's the size of a football field nearly.
Right. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. The athletes are all bigger, stronger, faster, and they work on it year round.
But still the quarterback is the centerpiece. Any quarterbacks in the league, younger ones that caught your eye?
Oh, man. I haven't been thinking about this.
Right.
But I marvel at most of them. I really do. Even the kid that didn't make the playoffs. Well, the playoffs haven't started yet. The Chicago Bears. I watched that guy.
Yeah.
Boy, he moves around. He throws the ball. They're special. I think a guy that always catches my eye because he's still playing is Aaron Rodgers too, and what he's accomplished over here.
He's not like you, Rodgers. I think
he has better wills. He was.
Yeah, you had to retire at 34.
Well, I had torn knee ligaments in college, and getting those things straightened out. We didn't. They weren't as good as you'd like it to be, but they were good enough to do it one time.
And Rodgers can still throw the ball.
Oh, he's wonderful. He's moving around nicely at 42 years old. I watch the footwork. I watch him move around, and he still has some heat on the ball too.
Yeah,
he has velocity.
You've heard me talk about All Family Pharmacy before, and I'll keep talking about them because they are truly doing things right. They're fast, reliable, And they care about getting people the meds they need without all the runaround when you don't want to wait in line and would rather get your meds delivered to your door. You need All Family Pharmacy. When everyone around you is sick and you want to be prepared, you need All Family Pharmacy. And when your doctor says they will not prescribe ivermectin, you need All Family Pharmacy. They've got everything: antibiotics, antivirals, Tamiflu, blood pressure meds, more. Order online. Once approved by the doctors, your medication ships straight to your door. Be prepared for whatever this new year brings. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use the code BILL10 to save 10%. Now, Tom Brady's considered the best ever.
I wouldn't argue with that.
No?
No, it's a team game, as we know. But Tom came through in the clutch every those 8 times or whatever they were. Yeah.
You're in the Hall of Fame, of course. First quarterback to ever throw for more than 4,000 yards. What I picked up from you as a kid, because I was playing college ball, was that you were fearless. You weren't afraid of anything, and you threw 4 interceptions. You're still going to throw deep.
Well, yeah,
But that's unusual, Joe. Come on. Most quarterbacks, they throw a couple of picks, and they're going, woo, not you.
I don't know about how the other guys feel. I know I just wanted to win, and we did our best to win.
But you didn't seem to care about what anybody thought about you out there. You were going to just do what you thought you had to do to win.
I felt like I knew the game as well as I don't want to upset the coaches, but, I did a lot of film too, We studied film in high school on through college and pro ball. Study.
One of the guys that really has disappeared, but was the key to your Super Bowl win, is Matt Snell. Unbelievable back, and had an unbelievable game in 1969. So every time you needed a breather, you just said, here, take the ball.
Oh, man. You remind me, Matt, in that play, we scored a touchdown.
Right.
I remember getting in the huddle, and I told the guys, I said, all right, listen up. We're going to get up there and get set, because we're going to run 19 reach on the first sound. Now, listen up. We're going to run 19 reach on the first sound. What that meant was when I got up there, it didn't go into a cadence. It was the first person, because Baltimore was very good that year.
And he disappeared, Matt.
Yes. And sadly so, because from what I was told, and Matt didn't tell me this himself, but Matt went to the Jets to want to work for him. He wanted to continue when he retired to work for him, and they turned him down. So
tough game.
That's why he disappeared. He never came back to another function. I hope he's still with us, because I don't know.
I think he is out on Long Island, but he played an amazing game, Super Bowl game, and I wanted, to bring that back. Now, a lot of people don't know that you've devoted your life in your later years to helping football players who have gotten concussed and have neurological problems. It's joenamath.org, joenamath.org. And as you know, I help support your charity. I have for many years. You yourself, at age 82, just went through a conversation with me that most 50-year-olds couldn't have gone through. You understand that, don't you?
I don't know.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, number one, I'm firing questions at you like this. Boom, 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 boom. And you're answering the questions. And people are going to go, whoa, look at that. But a lot of your contemporaries, they don't have the mental acuity anymore because of football.
Yes, that's right. And I was lucky. I was able to take 120 hyperbaric oxygen dives.
Wow.
In my home here in Jupiter, Florida. And I think that did a great deal for me. I had some x-rays and scans done in my brain, and there were dark spots where I wasn't getting a blood flow. And so I got fortunate where at Jupiter Medical Center, they let me come in there, and I got in the tube, and I had it by the window because I'm tendencies of claustrophobia, but it was a clear tube, and I got to do 120 dives. After the first 40, we looked at them, and the dark spots had lightened up a bit.
How old were you when you started that?
Wow. This has got to be 30 years ago.
30 years ago. So you're in your 50s.
Yeah, probably.
In your 50s. In addition, you had 2 knee replacements, right?
Yeah, on the shoulder and hips.
And hip. Was it worth it?
Yes, of course.
It was.
Yeah. The first of all, being able to win a championship in sports, when you crave it that much and you want to be a part of it and share it with so many people, it's team game, and you're able to share it with
your teammates. Yeah, but to this day, let's see, 69, it's 31 years, 26, 57 years ago, right? That you won a Super Bowl. 57 years ago. You walk into any place in this country, they know Joe Namath. And they want your autograph. They want a picture with you. That's unbelievable. Only in America. There couldn't.
Oh boy, thank God for America.
Still a superstar after all of this time. There's not many.
I've been very lucky, no doubt, with the health and all, and I moved around in different areas where I was still visible with some TV stuff and all, and I don't know what to say except thank you, folks.
Well, you've always been a humble guy. Everybody thinks because you're so charismatic and cocky, but in private, you're not like that.
What was it? I tell it with a little humor. I was the youngest of 4 boys and a sister too, and I thought my name was Shut Up till I was 14.
So the family taught you humility.
It starts with the family. I think to this day it starts at home for everyone.
So I was a quarterback too, and I, as I said, didn't have a tenth of the talent that you were born with, and but I idolized you and try to emulate you. But the biggest jealousy factor I had with Joe Namath, and this is absolutely true, is that you starred in a movie with Anne Margaret. I remember sitting in that theater going, how am I going to do that?
She was a wonderful lady.
She is. I got to know her.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And Roger got it.
But that's what I mean. You win this game with these gorillas from Baltimore, and then there's Anne Margaret going, hey, hi, Joe.
Yeah, well, I didn't plan that part of my life. And
it just happened.
Lucky enough to be invited to do some things.
Right.
I thank God for that too, man.
Was that as rewarding as the football?
No, not really, because I knew I was not a really good actor, and I never did it as well as I wanted to do it. And to this day, I think about it and rehearse things over a bit. But looking at where I was and what I was doing, I know, wow, man, I was, except for one thing, William Woke, who wrote the K Mutiny Court Martial.
Uh-huh.
I was performing with Phil Bosco and Michael Moriarty on Broadway in the K Mutiny Court Martial. And after the play came back I heard a knock, he came to the dressing room where I was. And he introduced himself. And he said, Joe, you played Merrick the way I saw him.
Wow, what a compliment.
I heard goosebumps now. Yeah, and I don't think I've shared that with
right,
maybe my daughters or whatever, but
well, you've had an unbelievable life, right?
Yeah, and I thank God every day for it.
And no other country in the world could have provided that. Even the big soccer stars over in Spain and not Joe Namath. So I always tell people, look, God gives everybody talent. I think you agree with that. everybody gets talent when they're born. You just have to find it.
But I hate to think, we go into those neonatal units and we wonder, and we ask God sometimes why a child's brought into the world the way they are.
Yeah, I know when they're disabled and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But there's an innate ability in everybody, I do believe that, to prosper. Some need a lot of help. And you provide that help in your charity. Once again, it's joenamath.org. But the point I want to make is that it was a perfect melding that you and your style and your accomplishments fit right in with what America is. Opportunity. So you're a poor kid, 4 boys, father's a steel merchant, right? Blue collar guy.
My adopted sister, too.
Right? Right. No uncle in the business, no Nepo kid. And you rise to the top. And you're Joe Namath, a legend.
It all starts at home, and
I just think it's a fabulous American story.
Oh, I'm lucky. I mean, I do. I like to say I enjoyed every bit of it, but there were the down days too, the injuries and the losses, and you throw 5 interceptions and lose the game,
And then you have to get yelled at by Bear Bryant.
And Jared Philbin, by the way, our defensive end. Hey, Namath, we're wearing green this week, after you throw 5 interceptions. But Coach Bryant, you see, I was so lucky with my coaches.
Right.
My high school coach, a gentleman, Larry Bruno, who did my induction at the Hall of Fame. I called Weeb Eubank whenever I was told that I was elected to the Hall of Fame. And I said, Coach, I love you. I appreciate you. And I have to get someone I'm asking someone to introduce me to the Hall of Fame. And, I was wondering, Coach, Larry Bruno, he cut me off. He said, Joe, you get Larry. You get Larry. He said, oh, shucks, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. He said, you get Larry. He's the guy that started it,
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. I got my high school.
You were lucky to have the guys around you.
Oh, yes.
But you were the leader of the gang.
Well, it's a part of the job,
Yeah.
That's right. You're supposed to know the game, the offense better than anybody else, and you're supposed to know what to do in any given circumstance. You got to know the time, the score.
They say Joe Namath, playboy, Joe Namath this, but they didn't know how seriously you took it. You were out there. And if somebody made a mistake, you would let them know it.
You mentioned again Coach Bryant at Alabama.
Right. He was a piece of work.
Oh, after the first game we played, Bill played Georgia, and we beat them pretty good. It was in Birmingham. And we go into the dressing room, and they finally let the newspaper guys come in, and they get around me, and there were about 4 or 5 of them, and next thing I see Coach Bryant grabbing them. Get away from that popcorn kid. Go talk to the guys that did the winning. And I started to say something, and Leroy Jordan put his hand right on my shoulder, pulled me back. He said, you don't know him well enough yet. And I was upset. He really took me down, man. And it was right at the time, sure.
If you are a homeowner, there's no better time than now to call American Financing to wipe out that debt, eliminate the stress, set yourself up for a strong 2026. The Fed dropped rates for the 4th time in December. American Financing can help you access that equity in your home at an interest rate that's in the low 5s. That is a much lower rate than the average 20% or more credit card rate. American Financing is saving their customers an average of $800 a month. There are no upfront fees, no obligation to see how much you can save. If you begin today, might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So please call 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/bill. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or placed in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty-free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Last question for you. Do the younger players today, do they seek your advice sometimes? Do they talk to you about what you accomplished and how you got there?
No, I don't think I know a young player today.
Is that right?
Yeah, no. They work at it year-round now, and
they're in their own little world.
They're supposed to be very good, and they are physically.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you can't tell about is, unless you get to know them, is the thought process, the brain.
Okay, so the younger people, they're self-absorbed, they're in their own world, and they're obviously in a very competitive industry. You get together, Joe Namath has a couple of golf tournaments to raise money for his charities. Again, joenamath.org. You get together with the older guys, because I met them all, because I go to your outings. And what do you guys talk about? I mean, what's the main thing that they look back upon in this whole thing?
Well, we don't look back upon things a whole lot. It's a given. We've seen each other, we shared it with each other, and it's more about what's happening today with the families, and kids and all. So, no, it's I think we all marvel at how the game's changed.
Yep.
How the athletes are, they're really much better these days. And I enjoy watching the game all the time, man.
You sit there and you watch it and you go...
I watch it whenever I really want to get involved. I watch Alabama play. Mm-hmm. I watch good college teams play. I'll watch part of a pro game and maybe the whole thing, but sitting down for 3 hours is hard for me. Anything
you do differently now in your wisdom? Obviously, most of us get smarter as we get older. Not everybody, but most of us. Anything you do differently?
Over the years, I've changed. I've always, I've always taken care of myself. I used to be a drinker and all, but 30, 40 years ago, I stopped the drinking, and I attribute that to my survival at this point,
right?
Because had I continued to drink, I would have ruined my family and myself at the same time.
But you conquered it.
Yeah. I knew it was wrong. And I wanted to see if I could too live without it, because it started to take over my life. And in the morning, going to an airport, you go to the bar first or whatever, just became a part of my.
You know what I told my son? He's 22. And I said, I don't drink. He goes, no, I've never drank, ever. No drugs, no pot, nothing. That's why I'm so boring. And I told my son, I said, look, I'm not going to tell you not to drink, or I'm not going to tell you have to smoke pot. I'm not going to do that. You're old enough. You're an adult now. But I've saved $5 million not drinking. $5 million. Okay. And his head snapped back. I said, I never bought any booze ever, anywhere. Okay, you know how much money I saved not doing it? And that clicked right into him. Okay.
That's good.
So, yeah, isn't that bad? That's a good way to, rather than. Okay. But anyway, I admire you very much. You know that. And I value our friendship. I think you're a very smart, astute guy. I don't think you put a curse on the Jets.
No.
Because I know you want them to do well.
Absolutely.
I think you and I may have to buy the franchise. Turn it around.
Let's not go there.
So thank you for helping us. And we will continue to help the Joe Namath charities at joenamath.org. And we hope you look in on Joe and enjoy the Super Bowl.
Well, thank you, Bill. It's a treat being with you, man.
Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today. Okay. You ever heard of the ICC? This is an interesting story. So the ICC is the International Criminal Court. Most people have no idea what it is. It's in The Hague, which is the capital of the Netherlands. Most people don't know that. Okay. So the ICC has 123 member countries, not the United States. We have not signed on to that, nor has China, India, or Russia. We're not part of it. Those 123 countries send money to the ICC so they can investigate war crimes, crimes against humanity. That's what it's in business to do. You with me so far? Okay. So the ICC has issued arrest warrants for Bibi Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, and the Hamas leaders, and also the defense minister of Israel. These are warrants issued by The Hague in Netherlands. Now, there's no way these warrants are going to be served. If you tried to serve these warrants on Hamas, they'd shoot you in the head, all right, or torture you before they shot you in the head. So those aren't going to be served. And Netanyahu's security never going to let these people close. Now, you may remember the only real headline grabber was that the ICC prosecuted a man named Ratko Mladic, former Serbian leader, for war crimes and convicted him. And he's in prison serving life. He's 82 years old. That was the big one. You remember the Balkans War in the 90s? Okay, they grabbed this guy, this Serb. They whisked him over to Holland, which is the Netherlands, and they convicted him. That was their big gun. But now they have issued arrest warrants for Netanyahu and the Hamas guys. They also issued arrest warrants for Putin and his crew about 2 years ago. Of course, Putin, again, you try to serve a warrant in Russia on Putin, not going to work out. Okay. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you all this. So here's Biden's statement about the ICC. Let me be clear, whatever this prosecutor might imply, there's no equivalence done between Israel and Hamas. We will always stand with Israel against threats to its security. That was written for Biden. Okay. Here's Netanyahu's statement. With what audacity do you compare between the Hamas that murdered, burned, butchered, raped, and kidnapped our brothers and sisters and the IDF soldiers who are fighting a just war that is unparalleled and morality that is unmatched? Okay? Okay, so this is political. Much of the world hates Israel. As you know, far more countries hate Israel than like Israel. But it's not going to lead to anything. Here in the United States, these hardcore leftists who make up the pro-Palestinian protests now, the students have gone home, they're lifeguards and, for the summer, have some fun, but the real hardcore remain. Yesterday at Yale, 150 Yale graduates walked out of their own graduation, insulting the president of Yale, Peter Salovey, who was speaking, and they all walked out. There's a video of it, screaming and yelling about the Palestinians. Okay, but here's what's interesting. Here's a statement by Dr. Salvi, or whatever his name is. I think it's Salovey. O'Reilly, I'm on it. Salovey. Here's his statement. Yale is committed to promoting freedom of speech and expression. As president, we do not agree on everything, but we all have a responsibility to do our part, fostering community in which we can have open, civil discussions about any topic, no matter how complex, how difficult. As members of a university committed to learning the search for truth, we can do no less. Didn't condemn the protesters to disrupting the graduation and insulting the president. We can't do that. No, that's the way you have it. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff going on with this Israel-Hamas. And I think one of the best guests in the country is a guy that works for News Nation. His name is Leland Vitter. You may remember him. He worked for Fox for 10 years, and he was based in Jerusalem for much of that time. I used him on A Factor. He's a good reporter, solid reporter, not an ideologue, doesn't tilt it. and I do Vitter's show on News Nation every Monday. He joins us now from Washington. All right, Vitter, this is a no-spin interview, and you know what that means, all right? I don't want anything other than what I ask you. And at the end, you can make fun of me if you want, okay? First question, do you believe most Americans, in particular these protesters at Yale and other places, understand what is really happening in Israel and Gaza?
No, I don't think they necessarily understand, but in a sense, I don't think it matters because of how far in we are. And you, Bill, for a long time, and still do, talk about the fairness doctrine. Fairness is something that is inherent in America. And to be fair, 6 months into protests, if you are out there chanting things, if you don't know what they mean, that's on you. That's not up to us journalists to say, well, he may not believe that. And by that, I mean, if you're chanting from the river to the sea and you don't know that is from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, meaning we're going to wipe out Israel, well, that's on you that you don't know that.
Okay, and I think everybody right
that you want to wipe out Israel.
What I'm trying to get here is, if you're going to protest anything, you should understand what you're protesting.
Fair.
And you just said, in front of millions of people all over the world, that you believe most of these protesters and Americans in general, people just sitting in their living room, do not understand what is happening in this region. Why don't they understand it?
A couple of reasons. One, basic ignorance of a very complex and complicated situation. I lived there for 4 years, covered it every day, and still don't fully understand it. Two is the moral equivalence. And you talked about the International Criminal Court, which put Israel and Hamas on the same level and created a moral equivalence. And to a lesser degree, President Biden does the same thing, both in his rhetoric and in his policies. And what it comes down to, the thing to understand is there is evil, which is Hamas, which is sponsored by Iran, and there is Israel, which is not perfect. But certainly, if you have to pick between the two, and wars are binary choices, you pick between good and evil, that leaves you the choice of Israel. And I think the fundamental misunderstanding, and in a lot of ways, it's because of the media's reporting, that somehow the Palestinians are victims because of Israel, when in fact the Palestinian civilians are victims because of Hamas.
Okay. But isn't it true that there are elements in Tel Aviv who are using this war, and I think it is a just war, for revenge? They hate Palestinians, they hate Hamas, they hate everybody over there, because remember, and you know this better than anyone, from the time you are 2 or 3 years old, if you are living in Gaza or the West Bank, you are taught in school that Jewish people are the devil. But of course the Palestinians hate the Jews. Of course they do. And therefore, the Jews feel justified in hating back. Is there any validity to that argument?
I guess on the margins, there's a little validity that there is anger in the Israeli community at the fact that they've offered the Palestinians upteen zillion peace deals. They unilaterally pulled out of Gaza, and this is what they got, which is Gaza controlled by Hamas, and 70% of Gazans saying they agree and support Hamas. I've not seen any evidence of widespread, and I use that word advisingly, widespread revenge or acts outside the rules of war by the Israeli military that would somehow speak to, we're trying to cleanse the Palestinians, or we're trying to push the Palestinians out of Gaza.
It isn't so much that. It isn't a cleanse. It's a Hamas leadership hides behind civilians, okay, which you know is true, all right? Hamas has its headquarters below hospitals. It has armaments in schools. It does all of that because Hamas wants Israel to kill civilians. That's all 100% true. But the rationalization on the part of some, and I don't know the number or how many, is, well, that's too bad for the Palestinian people because they put up with Hamas. If all the Palestinians rose up and threw them out, okay, but they don't. They accept Hamas leadership. How do you punch a hole in that argument?
It's very clear. Hamas started a war with Israel. Israel not only has the right, but I think as a country, it has the obligation to defend itself and defend its citizens. And if Hamas puts Palestinian civilians, as you've just said, in the way, which they do, the only way to liberate the Palestinians, the only way to free them from the oppression and the cruelty of Hamas is to kick Hamas out and to end Hamas as a terror organization. So, yes, there are Palestinians who are going to tragically die. The question is, whose end responsibility is that? And having spent a lot of time there and interviewed these folks and been there, Hamas views Palestinians' deaths as a success. Israel views them as a necessary tragedy to protect its own people.
Okay, that's a good analysis. Do you believe that most Palestinians want to kick Hamas out?
No.
Okay,
and you point
now
out why.
Therein lies the problem, right? Therein lies why the Allied forces leveled Dresden in Germany when they were winning, the Allies were winning, destroyed the whole town because the German people would not repudiate the Third Reich. Right?
I don't think it's a fair moral comparison, because we're not seeing Israel destroy mass towns the way the Allies did Dresden. The Allies didn't send leaflets over Dresden and say, hey, we're about to firebomb Dresden, please leave. The United States didn't send leaflets over Nagasaki and Hiroshima and say, we're about to drop nuclear bombs. The Israelis do. The Israelis not only send leaflets, they send text messages, they make phone calls. They broadcast on radio and on television, hey, this is where we're headed. If you're a civilian, leave. If you're Hamas, we're going to kill you. It's a completely different standard that the Israelis hold themselves to, a much higher one. And I think it shows the unfairness of the media.
Excellent point. I read stats today where the Israelis have allowed much humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza, which is some of it stolen by Hamas. I mean, that kind of thing. Final question. Biden and the other people, the politicians who really don't care. I mean, Biden couldn't care less about what happens in the Middle East. He just wants to get reelected. You hear two-state solution. This is Chuck Schumer's favorite expression. Two-state solution. I mean, again, simple man O'Reilly, all right? There aren't two states. There's just one, Israel. Gaza is not a state. Palestine is not a state. There's no functional government there. All there is terrorists telling people what to do. Am I wrong?
Only in that there is a two-state solution, and the second state already exists. That's the state of Jordan, which is 90% Palestinian, 10% Hashemite. If you want
okay, but Jordan, that's not what they're talking about, though.
No, it's not what they're talking about. But
Jordan.
it is that is an option, and the other option is that Egypt takes
part
of Gaza.
Why is Jordan an option? So Jordan takes over Gaza and the West Bank?
You could certainly envision a situation where Gaza becomes part of Egypt and the West Bank becomes part of Egypt, or out of part of Jordan, which, by the way, it was up until 1967, and Gaza was part of Egypt up until 67. No, nobody wants a part of it. No, Jordan
is sympathetic. Jordan is sympathetic. Egypt doesn't want any part of this at all. All right, final question. When you were over there for 4 years, what was the most important thing that Leland Vittert learned from that stint?
Evil is real, and you have to have moral clarity when fighting it.
Okay. I earned.
Did I play by your rules, Bill? I came to your house.
I thought that was a good. We'll know tomorrow with the mail, Leland. I mean, they might make fun of your hair. That's possible. Because I do all the time. But I thought that was a pretty good interview. I thought you answered the questions very directly, and that's why I'm happy to be on your program on News Nation. You can watch Leland at 7 o'clock Eastern every day, and I hope you do. Thanks for helping us out. We'll see you on your show next week.
Sure.
Another day, another news story buried. You know the game. The media pundits would rather talk about anything instead of what's really going on. So, the truth is behind the headlines. Take back control and prepare for what will come with My Patriot Supply. Since 2008, My Patriot Supply has helped millions of Americans get ready for the worst. Today, their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits flying out of the shelves. Get yours now at my website, preparelikebill.com. This kit offers more than 2,000 calories every day. Plus, with ultra-durable 4-layer packaging, it lasts up to 25 years. So order all the kits you need for $200 off each one, free shipping included. You've been warned about what could happen. Don't live in fear. Take back control of your future, because this isn't just food, it's freedom. Stock up today at preparelikebill.com, preparelikebill.com. Smart Life. Okay, I've been a little selfish just promoting my own books for Father's Day, so let's broaden it out a little bit. Dad and Granddad, if they're readers, I got some books for you. The Light of Battle, Eisenhower D-Day, The Birth of American Superpower, Michael Paradis. Taking London, my co-author Martin Dugard, that's his book. Winston Churchill and a Fight to Save Civilization, that will be out June 11th. Okay, The Shadow of War, a novel. Okay, we have naval written down here, but it's a novel of the Cuban Missile Crisis, Jeff Shara. Judgment of Tokyo, this is a good book. World War II on Trial and Making of Modern Asia, Gary Bass. They're all good books, but this one caught my attention. Okay, I Have Your Back, How an American Soldier Became an International Hero, Tom Sileo. And finally, The Unvanquished, The Untold Story of Lincoln's Special Forces, The Manhunt for Mosby's Rangers, and the Shadow War that Forged America's Special Operations, Patrick O'Donnell. That's some subtitle. Anyway, all of those are history books. And if you want to get Dad, if he's got all mine, you might consider those. Smart Life. All right, Louisiana becoming the first state to require the 10 Commandments be posted in all public schools. All right, this is Louisiana Bill HB 71. I believe that the governor will sign it, and then it will be ruled unconstitutional. Because it's already in a 1980 ruling, Supreme Court said no. But it's wrong, because the Supreme Court itself in the building has a display of the 10 Commandments. When you go to Washington and you tour the Supreme Court building, you'll see the 10 Commandments. Why? Because our entire law system is based on Judeo-Christian tradition. That's why. So we'll follow the Louisiana thing. Jeff Landry is the new governor there. He's a good guy. And we'll see where it goes. If you suffer from daily pain, I'd like you to listen carefully to this message. A safe and effective way to ease pain is taking the world by storm. Introducing 100% drug-free Candid. Candid has already helped more than 100,000 Americans beat pain. It is so effective, it was named the official pain reliever of the UFC. And those guys know about pain. Non-addictive, Candid optimizes your body's natural painkillers, bringing full body relief in 7 days or less, without a single documented side effect. Candid is the future of pain relief. Now the best part. When you go to trycono.com/bill, you can get it for less than $1 a day. You really are just days away from being pain-free. Again, just go to trycono.com/bill and see for yourself. By now, you have heard me talk about Delta Rescue. They are a fantastic organization that helps rescue animals from the wilderness. You know, I'm a dog lover, so is Leo Grillo, the founder of Delta Rescue. It is his life's mission to provide everlasting care for these once abandoned animals. I myself have donated to Delta Rescue. Do you believe it is part of man's duty to care for dogs and horses, the animals that so much of our history is tied to? If so, please consider making a donation or consult your advisor about leaving a gift in your will or trust. There can be some tax advantages and it's a great way to help Delta Rescue accomplish their mission. So please visit deltarescue.org to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. All right, final thought of the day. Get a lot of mail about Holly. So she had to go back in the hospital for a tune-up. Holly had a brain tumor removed. You know, ultra serious. So I had to bring her back. I get a tune-up, clear out some of the other, what they call margins in the dog's brain. And Holly's now back home and getting great care across the board. Vets are great. You know, I'm keeping an eye on Holly and all of that. So I think Holly's going to make it. It's been very, very tough for the little dog. She's a corgi, 7 years old. You know, so that puts her about 50 years old, human years. She should be able to live another 6 unless it's a recurrence, this brain thing. But it's hard for me to sit back with anybody that is in my family or my friends and watch them suffer. And Holly has suffered. And I'm doing everything I can. And I have to stay up most of the night if I look tired because, you know, got to watch. If Holly needs anything, it's me that's got to provide it. There's no dog nurse. But Holly's a really, really good dog. And she's been a member of our family since a puppy. Got her from a breeder in Georgia, and really has been a great addition to the O'Reilly family. So anyway, thank you for writing and asking about Holly. And we believe that she is going to be back 100%. Take some time, and that's life. You fight the good fight, right? Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.